Live from our studios here at Kokomeme in Accra, this is Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Kaloni. Our lead stories this hour. Majority Chief Whip claims the government has settled up to 80 million cedis of debt owed WAEC, as the examination body complains about the debt hampering its ability to conduct future examinations.
So an amount of 80 million has been released. So please, my colleague can make all his points, but he should stay clear of that. The matter has been dealt with.
We have details, but that claim is challenged by the minority. Also, Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Akufo-Addo proposes members of Parliament who fail to show up during proceedings should not be paid, as he laments the minority is setting a dangerous precedent.
We don't come to work, we don't have to get paid. So that as long as we want to stay in the courtroom, let us deduct that and return it to National Kitty. Because if you don't work, you don't need to get paid.
We have details as the minority's continuous boycott of the House when their leader is in court takes a toll on parliamentary business. But its referring members also absent themselves to the Privileges Committee enough. We'll tell you more.
As the Privileges Committee, when they absent themselves and so on over the years, has not worked.
And we'll tell you how stigma, discrimination, lack of adherence to safe sex, and refusal to disclose HIV status to partners are contributing to high HIV infection rates in Ghana. We're on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and all our social media handles are Joy News on TV. Please stay for details. Thank you for choosing us. Now let's begin from Parliament, where Minority Chief Whip Frank Anno Domprey has claimed in Parliament that the government has settled a significant portion of the debt owed the West African Examination Council, WAEC. Now, WAEC has stated it might have to postpone the upcoming Basic Education Certificate Examination, BEC, due to financial constraints imposed on it due to the debt. Speaking on the floor of the House, Bole Bambo MP Yusuf Suleiman charged the Education Minister to focus on clearing that debt instead of pushing unwanted bills through Parliament.
As we speak, today as we speak, WAEC is complaining that they do not even have money to conduct BEC exams. That is what we should pay attention to. We don't see that to the agents, and we don't see that as an issue that we should address immediately. What we are talking about is taking National Service Bill and the certificate of agency. When in nature for this country, BEC is to be written very soon, and WAEC is unable to raise money to do it, and nobody is talking about that. I think that the minister should be interested in raising money for WAEC to be able to conduct BEC exams for our children.
But the Majority Chief Whip Frank Anno Domprey offered a clarification, claiming he has been informed, together with a minority leader, that up to 80 million cedis out of the almost 100 million cedi debt has been cleared.
Of releasing to WAEC, Chief Whip will bear me out. When this morning we came to the chamber, the ranking member raised it, and I have details of it here. No, you are not listening. Please come. He raised issues about releases to WAEC for the conduct of exams. And the ranking member, the respected ranking member, gave me copies. So myself and the Chief Whip, we followed up and we spoke to the Minister of State, Honorable Abeno Saisai. She got back to the ministry, did all the checks, and confirmed that indeed they have made significant release. Significant. Well, please, listen to me. So we are told an amount of 80 million has been released. So please, my colleague can make all his points, but he should stay clear of that. The matter has been dealt with.
But Minority Chief Whip Governs Kwame Agbojo challenged the claims, insisting his side is not aware such an amount has been paid.
Welcome to our program. my good friend, Majority Chief Whip, in explaining whether monies have been released for this year's DEC. He said that myself and others were here when our colleague, the minister responsible for finance, verbally told us that she has worked on some money to be released in 2 tranches to WAEC. What I heard her saying, without any evidence, was that some monies were paid to WAEC yesterday, and some will be paid today, and it's about 40 million. The point of the ranking was that on this paper that he gave a copy, he gave the 2 of us a copy, what is owed WAEC for BEC is 93 million Ghana cedis. So if you pay even 40 million, you are just almost halfway. So I am not aware he said 80 million. If they paid him 80 million, fine, because I saw her insisting we paid 40-something million and it's the total amount of money. So what they are supposed to receive is 93 million. So I just want to put it on record that I am not aware that all the monies owed WAEC has been paid. I'm not aware of that.
Still in Parliament, Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Akufo-Addo, is proposing members of Parliament who fail to show up during proceedings should not be paid, as he laments the minority's continuous boycott of the House each time leader is in court is setting a dangerous precedent. The trial of Minority Leader Dr. Akufo-Addo is already taking a toll on the business of Parliament as NDC MPs boycott proceedings in solidarity with their leader. Akufo-Addo, who is worried about the conduct of parliamentarians, said it's high time firmer sanctions are meted out against individuals who absent themselves from the House. He spoke in an interview with Faustina Safo on the news desk.
What is the essence of adjourning sitting to 3 p.m. because somebody is in court? So if an ordinary citizen of the nation is in court, we will also adjourn sitting to 3 p.m. Let us not expose ourselves to unnecessary attacks from the public. Because somebody, one person, is in court, we will sit at 3 p.m. So yesterday we were in our offices waiting for the 3 p.m. for us to be, for the sitting to convene so that we join. And we are setting a very, very bad precedent. So next time, I will expect that any member of the public is also in court. We should show solidarity with him. All of us should rise in Parliament and go to the court to show solidarity. How bigger are we than the members who elected us as members of Parliament? And that, if we frustrate government business the way we are doing, it means that we are not showing patriotism to the country. That is untoward and that is unacceptable. But I think it is very wrong. And we must condemn it. And I do condemn it as a member. And I feel ashamed sometimes when we are confronted with such situations. And we should be showing the leadership. We should be showing the lead. And we are not. We are failing in showing leadership in this country. And how long can we go on with this? If we don't come to work, we don't have to get paid. Simple. So that as long as we want to stay in the courtroom, let us deduct that and return it to National Kitty. Because if you don't work, you don't need to get paid.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the African Center of Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Draman, says referring members who absent themselves to the Privileges Committee is simply not enough, as the parliamentarians have failed to crack the whip on their own, making it difficult to deter members from absenting themselves from the House. Speaking on the news desk, he recommended firmer sanctions.
Comes to dealing with absenteeism, Parliament has failed woefully. And perhaps that's why people can just walk away and come back because they know that there wouldn't be any consequences. And like the Honorable Member has said, I think I support that view. I have said over and over on your platform, on other platforms, that look, we have to adopt an approach that bites directly because, the issue of taking members to the Privileges Committee when they absent themselves and so on over the years has not worked. Our parliamentarians have failed to look their own in their face and say that on this count, you are guilty and you are expelled from Parliament. You have not been able to do that. And many parliaments recognize that that is not possible. So they adopt the approach where if you don't show up, you don't get paid, or you suffer some of your allowances and so on. Perhaps this is a time Parliament might have to think about maybe going this way, as the Honourable Member is suggesting, and it's an approach that I support very strongly.
Now, away from Parliament, a prosecution in the ambulance procurement trial has confirmed that Attorney General Godfred Ibodami met with the third accused, Richard Jakpa, at the residence of Supreme Court Judge Justice Yoni Kolende. According to the state, this meeting was unplanned, with Jakpa coincidentally appearing at the judge's house during the Attorney General's visit. This is the first time the prosecution has acknowledged Jakpa's claim made during cross-examination that he met Dami at Justice Kolende's residence on several occasions. My colleague Latif Idrisu has more in the following report.
The affirmation of the Attorney General's meeting with Richard Jakpa was couched in a question put to the third accused person by the Director of Public Prosecution, Yvonne Atokora Obobisa. The question put to Richard Jakpa was that, quote, "You only appeared at Justice Kolende's house when the Attorney General was there." Richard Jakpa in a response said, quote, "It is not true that I appeared at my cousin's house that day and met the Attorney General. In fact, the one who ambushed me on 25th March 2024 at around 12 midnight was the Attorney General in my cousin's house." End quote. An angry Richard Jakpa told the court on Thursday, June 20. Prosecution further contended and put to Richard Jakpa that the Attorney General never arranged the meeting and that it is false and a figment of your imagination. In his answer, Richard Jakpa described the prosecution's claim as false. Quote, "It is false," he said. He further explained that, quote, "All that I have explained was what took place when he, the Attorney General, arranged and we had that meeting that night, even though I had prior to that day spoken with him on Justice Kolende's phone when I was securing my bail." End quote. Richard Jakpa told the court. That response by the third accused created an altercation between the trial judge and lawyer for Richard Jakpa, Tadio Sori, who had interjected the cross-examination by the Attorney General with his own question to the third accused. When everyone calmed down after the heated exchange, the third accused continued from where he left off and said, quote, "The Attorney General did not say he would arrange it through me, but through my cousin. My cousin called me that I should come home because the Attorney General said he was going to have a meeting with me. And because the Attorney General had earlier sent me this WhatsApp message that I will arrange between your brother, thanks. The time of the meeting was between my cousin and the Attorney General." One other question the prosecution asked was that as at 14 February 2022, Attorney General had already filed those documents which you claimed you sent to him on July 2022. That is what AG put to Jakpa, and Jakpa's response was this, that it is not in dispute that the documents were sent to his, that is Attorney General's WhatsApp. It is also true he had requested for further documents, and I decided to give him documents that I deemed he should have. If I gave him documents he already had, it doesn't spoil anything. That was why he took some and left some. It doesn't negate the fact that he requested for documents and I gave it to him. The prosecution further suggested to the third accused that there is nowhere on the WhatsApp chat between him and Attorney General that shows the Attorney General arranged that meeting. Richard Jakpa, who is standing trial together with the Minority Leader of Parliament, Dr. Kesilato Forsin, for willfully causing financial loss to the state in processes leading up to the purchase of some ambulances for the state to the tune of 2.3 million euros, in his response said he asked for a meeting with the Attorney General and not an arrangement. He further contended that, quote, the Attorney General had the opportunity to decline my request for a private meeting, knowing very well that his legal profession does not allow for him to arrange for a meeting with me.
Away from the court, stigma, discrimination, lack of adherence to safe sex, and refusal to disclose HIV status to partners are major reasons for high HIV infection rate in the country. Currently, 334,000 people live with HIV in Ghana, according to the Ghana AIDS Commission. In 2023, the country recorded 17,704 new cases, with 11,317 women and 6,457 men affected. In the same year, 12,480 people died from the disease. The Ghana AIDS Commission says the country has failed to meet its annual target of 17% reduction in new HIV infections over the past decade. Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Draman, said 3 reasons are accounting for these high numbers.
They are lagging behind for 2-3 reasons.
What are they?
Number one is that Ghanaians are not taking HIV seriously. We are too complacent, and we demonstrate, utter disrespect for the prevention protocols. That's number one. Number two is stigma and discrimination. We still are having high levels of unaccepting attitudes towards persons living with HIV in the country. Ghana Statistical Service says that the recent report indicates that 78% of women and 72% of men, demonstrate unaccepting attitudes towards people living with HIV, to the extent that...
So stigmatization.
Stigmatization. Somebody will not buy food from a person living with HIV. Somebody wouldn't want his or her child to sit in the same classroom with another person or a child who is HIV positive or comes from HIV-affected household. HIV management has become a model for management of many other diseases in the world. And so we shouldn't be here. But here is the case that we are having high levels of stigma that drives people living with HIV underground and prevent them from accessing prevention and treatment services. It's also, even to the extent of people living with HIV, self-stigmatizing themselves and not even disclosing their HIV positive status to even their partners.
Even their partners.
Some of them, sadly, would not even tell and educate their children who were born with HIV and are being made to take medicines every day because they have to, prevent disease progression and ensure longevity. And so if a mother will not disclose to the child that lives with HIV.
Dr. Akufo-Addo added that the number of HIV-positive children under 14 years is rising due to mother-to-child transmission because some HIV-positive mothers stop treatment.
In high numbers of, children under 14 being HIV positive, who are mostly, which largely occurred through mother-to-child transmission. And so we have mothers who know they have HIV but are not taking the medication or at some point discontinue. And so it has impact on their children in many ways, including transmission to their babies.
Now, Director General of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Eric Suman, says plans are far advanced to implement food alert system at the Volta Basin to help people that live and work along the basin plan their lives and be on high alert so incidents of flood do not take them by surprise. Dr. Asuman said talks are underway to expand the project to cover the rest of the country. The following report has more.
Ghana Meteorological Agency has commended government's efforts in fighting climate change and mitigating its impacts as developing countries continue to reel under the harsh effects of climate change. Speaking at the closing ceremony of a workshop organized by the World Meteorological Organization and Adaptation Fund, Director General of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Dr. Eric Asuman, said his outfit has collaborated with the World Meteorological Agency and other institutions to implement flood mitigation measures along the Volta Basin through the Maidiwetra Volta alarm system and early warning for all projects.
Through these bulletins and information from Hydro, out of this bulletin, inform people alongside this basin, inform the NADMO to get themselves prepared, to get the people, taken to safe places or advise them what to do. Again, if you are farming along the basin and you are advising that it's going to be flooding, it's important information for you in your agriculture business. If there's going to be drought, so the project is flood and drought. And so this information will be very instrumental for people whose livelihood depend on the basin, who live along the basin.
Deputy Works and Housing Minister Prince Hamid Amma said Ghana Hydrological Authority is working closely with the Ghana Meteorological Agency and other state actors, including NADMO, to implement the flood early warning system for the Greater Accra region under the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development.
The authority is currently working closely with the Ghana Meteorological Agency and other state actors such as the Water Resource Commission and the National Disaster Management Organization to implement the flood early warning system for Greater Accra region of Ghana under the World Bank funded Greater Accra Resilience and Integrated Development Project.
Representatives from the World Meteorological Organization shared their thoughts on Ghana's progress in mitigating flood and other climate change threats.
The end of this project will not mean the end of WMO support to the 6 countries, but rather we will continue, because of our mandate, to provide assistance to the 6 countries through their national hydrometeorological services in being able to forecast, manage, and be more resilient to extreme events related to floods and drought, especially in light of the creeping climate change and any additional impact it might have on the occurrence and magnitude of floods and droughts.
Because this will help people to behave nicely and be less affected by floods and drought in the basin, and also for the investment in the basin. The most important now is to ensure the sustainability of this national support system and continue to use this beyond the life scale of the project. What I would like to highlight as well is the fact that this project contributes to enhance the technical and institutional capacity for the main institution involved in flood and drought management, and also the community level in the basin, through a series of the training that we organize, dealing about many thematic that can help people to address the issues.
The Volta Flood and Drought Management Project, according to the World Meteorological Organization, has the ambition to provide the first large-scale and transboundary implementation of integrated flood and drought management strategies through the complete chain of end-to-end early warning system for flood forecasting and drought prediction.
Now, the city of Accra will undergo cleanup from July 2nd to August 20th in preparation for the Homo festivities. To ensure the effectiveness of this initiative, shops in designated areas of Accra will be required to close. Gamanchani Taki Teko Churu II has emphasized that this measure will enhance the success of the Homo and the cleaning of Accra.
Indomo Mancheme Ahiwaleno, Indomo Manyeme Ahiwaleno, Indoma Safuacheme Ahiwaleno, Wulomoy Ahiwaleno, Indumo Wawoya Woye Ahiwaleno, Indoma Amlalu Ahiwaleno, Ningmene Minkpa gan homo wo fali femo.
I stand on behalf of the people of the Ga State and government to launch this year's Homo cleanup exercise. The task forces to supervise this exercise will be paid every 2 weeks by Zoom Lion. All shops are supposed to be closed at the start of this exercise, and all laid down sanitation procedures are expected to be adhered to. Because sicknesses don't know party colors, they affect anyone. Please don't politicize this exercise. I urge you all to rather get involved.
Politics na aje minji neke mo minji neke ke wogan ni bi eko kejemi mo wo fe ko me ni wo chaya ni nuchumo ne anye ni aye hin emuko akaje kejemi.
Meanwhile, Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Lydia Al-Hassan, says the agenda to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa is still on course, and resources will be made available for the cleanup exercise.
Our commitment to making Accra the cleanest city is still on course. This ambitious vision is not just a lofty idea, but a tangible goal we are all steadily working towards through a series of comprehensive and strategic interventions. To this end, the government is doing everything possible to retool the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. 205 tricycles, 42 compassion trucks and skip loaders, 50 skip containers, and over 400 cleaning tools and PPEs have been made available to the MMDAs within the Greater Accra region. This initiative ensures that our local authorities have the necessary resources to maintain cleanliness and manage waste effectively within their jurisdictions. In addition, we have established sanitation committee tasked with the oversight of sanitation activities, fostering community involvement and ensuring sustainable practices in various municipalities.
Now, President of the Ghana Electrical Contractors Association, Awal Sakib Mohammed, is urging the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, to cease its involvement in the procurement of materials and instead focus on its primary function of purchasing and distributing electricity. Speaking on the Super Morning Show, he has said that ECG lacks the authority and expertise to judge the authenticity of its product. Mr. Mohammed emphasized the seriousness of the issue, indicating that JECA is prepared to take legal action or even organize public demonstrations to ensure their demands are met.
Allows people to buy their own materials. Are you saying that now the excuse ECG engineers will give you is that people buy fake materials? You don't have the authority to determine whether a product is fake or not. It's only Ghana Standards Authority that have been mandated to do so. And then ECG should take its hand off material purchases. Their core mandate is to buy and sell power. There's nothing wrong. You do maintenance. So you buy your own materials and use it to do your own maintenance. But to prevent people from procuring their own materials is unacceptable. Now, even the materials, transformer, you can only install a transformer in ECG's network when they have tested it. All the importers, when they bring their transformer, they send them to ECG for them to test and issue them with a test report. But yet still, you prevent people from buying such transformers. I mean, that's double standard. So we are saying that buying of materials, ECG should focus on their core mandate, which is that they are to buy and sell power. They can import their own materials for their maintenance and whatever. But when it comes to private people that want dedicated transformers, it should be possible for people to buy materials from the open market. Their prices are highly inflated. I mean, you sometimes wonder where they get the things from. And the one unfortunate thing is that you prevent people from buying with the excuse that the materials in the market are fake. And these are the same people that supply you materials. They imported. They are the same people
Now, in a statement signed by the president, the association is calling for a stop to the policies implemented by the Electricity Company of Ghana, claiming these policies are counterproductive to ECG's revenue enhancement efforts and the government industrialization agenda. JECA emphasizes that these discussions are crucial for finding a mutually beneficial resolution that aligns with both ECG's financial objectives and the broader national industrial goal. My colleague Latif Idrisu joins me on Zoom with details of the statement. Latif, what are the highlights of the statement?
Well, Carlos, the statement is dated 13th May 2024 and is signed by Mr. Awal Sagib Mohammed, who is the president of the Ghana Electrical Contractors Association. I mean, the key highlight of the statement is that the association says they have found the reason to be as a result of the following policies being implemented by the Electricity Company of Ghana. One of the reasons they say is high cost of capital contributions required from customers.
Okay.
Second, demand for a 10,000 Ghana cedi unrefundable upfront payment from service applicants. 3, not allowing customers to purchase materials from suppliers of their own choice. And 4, increased material prices beyond market prices. So this is what they have found when they conducted their own research. And at the last paragraph, they say, as a matter of urgency, we call on you to suspend the policy and call on an emergency stakeholder engagement to find ways to address the issue. This, we are confident, will ease the burden on prospective investors and help improve your bottom line and reduce the teething unemployment in the country. Carlos.
Right. Thank you so much, my colleague Latif Idrisu, coming through with the highlight of that particular statement. You're still watching the Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Keloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay.
Everybody who is...
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union has temporarily suspended its ongoing strike. The strike, which commenced on Monday, June 17th, over better conditions of service, severely affected quality health delivery, leaving many patients needing laboratory services stranded. At a news conference earlier, the union said members are expected to return to work on Monday, June 24, to prepare their materials and officially begin rendering services on June 25. My colleague Michael Ashali has more in the following report.
Monday, June 17, members of the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union laid down their tools over government inaction regarding their conditions of service. For patients, this came at a huge inconvenience.
They say I should come and do lab, but since yesterday, nobody's here. There's people here, but they...
I'm a holding heart patient. I came to do the lab. They said they are on strike. And the amount they gave me was 120 cedis.
Many of these patients were left with no other option than to resort to private labs, which came at an exorbitant rate. Some relief at last. After 5 days of strike, the union has now resolved to suspend their strike. General Secretary of the union, Cephas Akoto, says this is a precondition from the National Labour Commission to allow negotiations to resume.
Having reviewed the above directive by the National Labour Commission at the National Executive Council meeting and other stakeholders meeting held between yesterday night and this morning, with our labor consultant in attendance, we have resolved to put on hold the ongoing industrial action and further advise all members of the union to return to work at their various places of work by Monday, the 24th of June, 2024.
The NLC expects that both the union and the government will conclude their talks before Thursday, June 27. Even ahead of that, the union is threatening to reactivate their strike if talks break down.
Till now, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has never seen the reason to invite us for any engagement. Even the Ministry of Health has failed to engage the union till now. But for us, we can see what our clients are going through, and we cannot be insensitive. And ourselves, we are not immune to strike action. And so we are putting it on hold, giving them the opportunity to rethink. And if they fail to act, we will go back to the decision.
A pile of work awaits these lab technicians at nearly all public health institutions. The union says they are putting measures in place to clear the backlog.
We know lives are involved, so where there is the need to prioritize, we will do that. And we'll put plans in place depending on, because it's not the same case across. Some facilities may have high workload, some may not even have any at all. So the lab management at that level, they know what they have to do to clear the backlog.
Meanwhile, the group is threatening to bring institutions harassing some of their members before the National Labour Commission.
I can tell you, Pong, for instance, a member there has been asked to vacate his accommodation. If you go to Holy Family Hospital in Techiman, people have been threatened that their appointment will be terminated. When you go to Holy Family Hospital at Nkoko, management at that place has declared positions vacant. And Faith Mission.
It remains to be seen what the outcome of the negotiations will be. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosoil Clean Fuel in full quantity. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants are together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, Draman Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenience service, and Youth Brigade or Bridge Foundation. Election Headquarters for an informed electorate. Now, traders at Domi Market have expressed strong support for the appointment of the current Chief of Staff, Akufo-Addo Pari, as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's running mate in the 2024 general elections. They believe Osei Opari's experience and dedication make her an ideal candidate to partner with Bawumia.
From Mohamed say, yeah, how we know you're not both from Palintin and lay a friend. As I say, yeah, my mini or bad time. You shut a man up, oh, Ghana Mohan. Yeah, my mother to go for power. You shut the one in another mambo, Aposi, my mini or bad, or some woman Ghana for a man. Why about that? And to get a from on the say, yeah, how we know at a two, yeah, we get from a Palibao, Fana. Commitment you be Montgomery market. And not tell you the same way 2 years from some woman for a here and 2 anymore. Here, I say, Papa Omia said the no bread was it. Yeah, man, about a brand who's was in Omubianamua about why a Jadifonso and mine. And not to buy a buy and yes, every before penny 4. I'm going to be a woman. Yeah, Papa Omia, Trawaji, more than Trawaji, yes, so said, Yamano from a party and your panel. Yama, mean, I'm a wow, maybe you would be Sumawa, and I know a cheap and shadow on the market. The power to the Chaman Bawumia and a Madame Parry.
Now, on the flip side, NDC running mate Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has called for the amplification of women's stories and experiences. Addressing female journalists in Accra, Professor Opoku-Agyeman highlighted the challenges and triumphs that women in the media face and also commended the importance of women's voices in shaping the country's progress. She urged female journalists to delve into the complexities and nuances of women's life through their storytelling.
If we don't change the narrative, if we don't tell the story for policymakers to know what it is that young people are going through, the policy changes may not come. And when they do come, the implementation will just be left, to be done, as we say, by heart. And in the end, nothing may change. So women journalists, we need you to tell the stories. We need to hear your voices. And as somebody said, you are afraid. Many people, I'm not saying we should do risky things or draw unnecessary attention to ourselves. But you see, it is when the group acts is more powerful than when an individual is. When we want to be known as the ones talking, it doesn't help. Link up with others and come out with a united voice and speak for others. People will be bound to listen. First, they pretend they haven't heard. And they start to intimidate you by giving you names you don't need. If you decide that you deserve those names, it's another story. If you decide otherwise, somebody asks how I've done it, I'll come to that. But we need a whole conference for that. And to be fair, I mean, if that's how a Muslim woman dresses, it's not about her dress, it's about the work she's going to do. And if the rest, dress like another country doesn't make it more acceptable or less so. So there are certain things that are so unnecessary and so unhelpful, but we'll put our attention there. We put too much attention on the packaging. How about the content? Let's consider that. Somebody's, I think it was you. She used to be in her small radio place and just talk and maybe, and that was it. Today, look at her. And look at the gentlemen. How many of them wake up and worry about that?
Well, it's time for showbiz, and the queen of showbiz is in studio.
I love the energy. Well, this time, showbiz.
You're looking good.
Thank you so much. You always make me feel so special. This evening, let's talk about a special song inspired by a special person, a special human being, a special little baby. I'm talking about Kadosh. Joe Metal is saying that his Kadosh song, Mr. Carlos, look at me.
Yeah, I'm looking at
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
He says that the special song Kadosh is inspired by a special somebody, which happens to be his daughter. He spoke to Andy Dosty on dealing with alcoholic brands. According to him, he will not accept any sponsorship from such brands, especially when they are extending support for his events.
You won't accept it, no. You can only forget about even, let me even put the faith aside. Like, you can only work with brands that complement what you do.
What if they give you money, but they wouldn't want to be mentioned? As some of the brands that don't want to be
that They don't want to be mentioned. They want to.
They just want to support you. Maybe they like. Okay, for instance, I know of an alcoholic beverage producer.
The individual wants to support.
Who is very,
take it. Why not?
Very benevolent. No, he loves to. He loves to give.
Oh yeah, that's the individual wants to give. But you see, if it's a company,
so the company is giving you Joe Metal. Yeah,
silent sponsor.
Silent sponsor.
If it's because it's silence, it's silence. Silence is silence, but it hasn't come. When it comes to
and your budget.
Minkasa meji eba nebehu.
Also budget silently.
Minkasa.
Na wonkasa.
No, if it's an individual, because there's no way a company, no matter what it is, ubiti ya honka one day.
And they will also invite you to come on their stage.
Exactly my point. So when you free that until
But this evening, it's a Friday, And
I'm looking at you.
yeah, it's the way you're staring at me. You know, we're having, you know, a little bit of karaoke there.
Sure.
We know that we're tired. I mean,
it's been a long week.
It's been a long week, and this is how we end actually the Joy News Prime. But we have this karaoke for us. The song is by Ifya. It's off her recent EP, which is called No More Tears. This is My Helper from Ifya. So if you're ready, we can do that.
Sure.
Okay, DJ.
Let's go.
It's me. You know this is for you, right?
Yeah, probably.
You're supposed to sing.
Sure, I'm singing along.
Okay, that now. Winner, Oluwa is my helper. Help me sing, Oluwa is my helper. You know. Oluwa is my helper. There's a second one. There's a second song. Let's try this one. The second song is by Stoneboy. Yeah, that's it. Can you do this one?
It's a choice that I made. This bone never break. My queen, you appeal to me.
Go ahead. DJ for me.
Baby, don't you
leave it away.
Believe me.
You see that?
It's not coming.
That's you.
Yeah.
Don't stop loving, don't stop. No, it looks like this is. No.
It's not.
What happened to the lyrics?
Yeah, it's not probably. Yeah.
We can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, the lyrics will stop.
Yeah. Anyway.
But we're grateful that you could join us here on Joy News Prime. And we're always grateful that you are here with us throughout the whole of this week. And we're here ending this Friday with our beautiful karaoke nights. Thank you so much, Carlos, for ending the week with us.
Beautifully. We're looking forward to a great weekend.
Yeah, very grateful, a very beautiful weekend.
Until then,
weekend with your family and do something happy.
Yeah, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.